All right, guys, this is the lesson what we did today. We solved multi-step equations, and we have here 3 with the parenthesis. Let me erase that. So we have 3 parentheses, x plus 8 equals to 36. So the first step to do is to get rid of the parentheses by doing the distributive property. You distribute. So 3 times x, here is multiplication. So you do 3 times x, you get 3x, then 3 times plus 8. Okay, so this is plus 3, by the way. We don't put that plus. So 3 times plus 8. So again, I'll write the rules for multiplication. A plus times a plus is a plus. A minus times a minus is also a plus. So when they are the same, the answer is always positive. When they are different, we said the answer is always negative. So a plus times a minus is a minus, and a minus times a plus is also a minus. So same, positive, different, negative, okay? This rule is for multiplication and division, okay? So that here it's a 3 plus 3 times plus 8. Both of them are positive. And a positive times a positive is the first one here. So this is a plus, and 3 times 8 is 24, equals to 36, okay? All right, we got rid of the parentheses. We have to get rid of 2 things now. The 3 here multiplies the x and the plus 24. So step 1 and step 2, two-step equation at this point. Step 1, let me get rid of that plus 24. And step 2, let me get rid of that multiplication by 3, okay? So we start with step 1. So if it's a plus 24, the opposite or the inverse is, I'm sorry, it's minus 24. Whatever you do to one side, we repeat to the other side. So on the left side is no thinking. We just cross it because the positive and the negative cancel each other. You get 0. And what's left on the left side? Just the 3 times x. So the 3x equals, and 36 minus 24, we get 12. So we got rid of the 24. That was the first step. Second step, we got to get rid of that multiplied by 3, and we'll be able to isolate x. We want x alone. Once we get it by itself, we will get the answer of the number we're looking for. That number that if you add 8 to it, multiply by 3, it gives you 36. So since there is a multiplication by 3, the opposite of multiplication, the inverse operation, is dividing by 3. Left side, no thinking. The reason I'm doing the opposite, because I want them to cancel. They're gone. I'm left with the x by itself. And 12 divided by 3 gives me 4. Okay? And that's beautiful. All right? So let's do the next one. We're going to do the same thing. We have 7 x minus 2 equals to 77. We are going to get rid of the parentheses by distributing. And then after that, we are going to try to isolate the variable. So let's distribute. This is a plus 7. So plus 7 times x gives me 7x. They just connect like crazy glue with multiplication, right? And then plus 7 times minus 2. Look at the sign to the left. So let's look at my rules. A positive times a negative. The 7 is positive, the 2 is negative, the answer is negative. So that's going to be a negative, and 7 times 2 is 14, equals to 77. All right. parentheses are gone. I could keep going. So at this point, to isolate the variable, just like this previous example, there are two steps, step 1 and step 2. Step 1, we're going to get rid of that minus 14. And step 2, we're going to get rid of that multiplication by 7. So let's start with step 1. If it's minus 14, the opposite of that is plus 14. And we do that to both sides. Left side, no thinking. The reason I'm doing the opposite, because they're going to cancel out. And I am just left with the 7x all by itself. Equals, and 77 plus 14 gives me 91. Second step, I need to get rid of this multiplication by 7. And the opposite of multiply by 7 is dividing by 7. Left side again, no thinking. You're just going to cancel. And I'm left with x. I isolated the variable. And x equals 91 divided by 7 gives me 13. Okay. All right. That was the second example. Let me do the other two examples. Give me 1 second. That we did today. All right, so next example, we have 6. Let me write it bigger. 6. 6x plus 5 equals to 18. Just like the previous example, let's get rid of the parentheses by distributing. That's the first step, distribute to get rid of the parentheses. So 6 times x is 6x. 6 times plus 5. Let me write those so again. Plus times a plus is equal to a plus. A minus times a minus is also a plus when they are different. Plus times a minus is a minus. A minus times a plus is also a minus, okay? So 6x6 plus 6 plus 5. 6 times 5 is 30. Plus times a plus is a plus. 30 equals to 18. Excellent. Now I do my 2 steps. Step 1, what am I going to get rid of? The plus 30. Step 2, what am I going to get rid of? That's times 6, okay? So opposite plus 30 minus 30, opposite of times 6 is division by 6. So let's do those steps. So let's start with the plus 30. The opposite of that is minus 30. And whatever we do to one side, we just repeat to the other side, minus 30. Here, no thinking, just cancels. I am left with 6x equals, what's 18 minus 30? We need to remember how to do subtraction. 18 minus 30, this is subtraction. And when we have to subtract, we have to change it to addition, KCC. Keep the 18, change the subtraction to addition, and change the 30 to minus 30. Okay, now it's addition. The first one is positive, the other one is negative. And the rule says if they have different signs, subtract them. 30 minus 18 is 12. Subtract them. Keep the sign of the number that has the bigger absolute value. And that's the negative number, okay? So this gives me negative 12. All right, if you don't remember how to add or subtract, I'm going to have the videos there. Go back and look at the videos again, okay, for addition and subtraction of rational numbers. Last step, instead of times 6, we are going to do divide by 6. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. Left side, it is actually no thinking. The reason I'm doing the opposite is to get the x or the variable all by itself. Okay, the 6 divided by 6 cancel out. On the right side, 12 divided by 6 is 2. And a negative, this is a positive, okay? A negative divided by positive is a negative. Division and multiplication are the same. So when the signs are different, it's always negative, okay? So the answer is negative 2. But I want you guys to remember this for the future. If you see something like this is just the fraction. I'm sorry, the fraction is negative. So it doesn't matter if, I think I told you guys, the negative is in the bottom or it's on the side. It just means that the whole thing is negative. Okay, once you do 12 divided by 6 is negative. So 12 divided by 6 is negative 2, and the answer is negative 2. So x is negative 2. Okay? All right, and the last one we did, and I'll do it again, is, let me just erase all of this. Let's do the last example. And again, we distribute to get rid of the parentheses. Get rid of the parentheses. Let me write my rules again. Plus times a plus is a plus. Minus times a minus is a minus. A plus times a minus when they are different. Oh, I'm sorry. Plus plus, here is a minus. A minus times a plus is a minus. So when they are the same, positive, different, negative. So let's start. This one, negative 15, is different from the other examples. The number I'm multiplying with is a negative number. So negative 15 times x is negative 15x. They just connect with multiplication. The tricky one is the next one. Is negative 15 times, and look to the left of the 8. That's negative 8, okay? So the rule says if they both negative, the answer is positive. So this is going to be a plus, and 15 times 8 is 120. All right, so it's positive 120. And just complete what was there already. There was a plus 5, nothing happens to that, equals to negative 25. Okay, so we got rid of the parentheses. Now we can move on and solve the equation. All right, so before we're gonna solve the equation, actually we have to do combine like terms. Anything that's like each other, we're gonna simplify it. There are two things that are like term here. These two are just numbers. I can combine them. So minus 15x plus 120 plus 5 is 125. That's equal to negative 25, okay? So let's do our two steps now. Step 1 and step 2. Step 1, we're gonna get rid of that plus 125 by doing the opposite. And step 2, we're gonna get rid of that multiplication by negative 15 by doing division of with negative 15, okay? Here, instead of plus 125, we're gonna do minus 125. So let's do that. So plus 125, the opposite of that is minus 125 to both sides. Here, there is no thinking, it just cancels. What's left on the left side is minus 15x equals, well, I gotta deal with this here. I got minus 25 minus 125. So this is a subtraction. So you have to do KCC to change it to addition. See subtraction in between? I gotta make that addition. So keep minus 25, change to addition, and change positive 125 to negative 125, okay? So now you have negative 125 plus negative 125. You could see it here as negative 25 and negative 125. You're adding two negative numbers. So the rule says add them and keep the sign. So add them, 25, 125 plus 25 is 150. And since they are both negative, you're gonna keep the sign, 150. So this gives you negative 150, okay? Review subtraction. I'm gonna put up a video for you guys to look at it again in case you forgot. All right, one more step. We gotta get rid of that multiplication by negative 15 here. This here, I gotta get rid of. So multiplication by negative 15, the opposite is division by the same number. Left side again, there is no thinking because I'm doing the inverse operation, they're gonna cancel. What is left? dx. I isolated the variable. That was the whole point. And here I'm gonna do 150 divided by 15. If you got a calculator, put it in the calculator, it's gonna give you 10. And then negative divided by negative, the rules are the same as multiplication. When they are the same sign, it's positive, okay? So this is gonna give you x equals to positive 10. All right, hopefully that helps, and I'll see you guys in class.